Well, it's time. Feminism. And if y'all wanted my channel to get like taken down or you wanted my career to be screwed up in 20 years, y'all should have just said so. But here we go. So, the feminist movement and what my thoughts are, which is what apparently was the highest voted thing people wanted me to talk about. So, first of all, I do not identify as a feminist. I think that what they originally wanted, the first and second waves of feminism, was very interesting. I think it made a lot of sense. Getting equal rights for women, equal pay for women, equal voting rights back in the day made sense. Modern day feminism is not that. Modern day feminism is toxic, and there are three reasons why I just don't affiliate with the movement. The first reason is the patriarchy. Now I haven't done enough research on the act of the on the thing that is the patriarchy itself to determine whether or not it is like as super a major thing as is talked about. But what I have found interesting is that the patriarchy is often used as a tool in order to further their movement in any way. Like, stop me if you've heard this. A dude does something good, beneficial to men. He is referred to as someone who is only furthering the patriarchy. Dude does something bad, messed up. He is someone who is benefiting from the patriarchy or the patriarchy is shielding him. Dude does something beneficial for women that affiliate with their movement. He is someone who is against the patriarchy. Okay, but that's the key thing. He has to be doing something that benefits their movement. That's the only way he's fighting against the patriarchy. A woman does something wrong. She couldn't help it. It's the patriarchy's fault. A woman does something right. She's fighting against the patriarchy. A woman does something right for their movement, the feminist movement. She's really fighting against the patriarchy. And then if a woman does something against their movement, oh, she's being brainwashed by the patriarchy, etc. They talk like women don't, they're hive minds, like women are wasps that have to adhere to the same brain. And it's idiotic, plain and simple. The second reason I dislike the movement is their lie that the current feminist movement is about equality. This is not the case. The current feminist movement is solely to benefit women. They do not care about me. And if you're a dude watching this, I hate to say it, they don't care about you. In fact, they don't even really care about the women who don't support them. They care about the women who sit at home, bored out of their fucking minds, who need something to be righteous about. That's who they care about. Because, like, you never hear a feminist champion about the fact that even though women have a higher depression rate than men, men commit suicide more often. You never hear women movements like that, the feminist movement, talk about that. You never hear their movements talk about how men will go to jail for longer times for committing the same crime as a woman. Never comes out their mouths. Or you'll have women who can't even take care of a fucking chia pet, or who can't even fucking raise a Pokemon if it was in their fucking DS cartridge, getting major custody of their kids when the dude is fully capable of taking care of the child. And if they were truly about equality, they would be talking about these issues. Now, they like to say that the feminist movement is for and against, it's for equality. But at the end of the day, though, like those in like if you can find a feminist movement where they've talked about that stuff, then by all means. But this is how you can tell that there is a bigger agenda, and I think the agenda is anti-male. Because think about it. If you ran a fast food movement, and your fast food movement was promoting all fast food to get as many people to eat it as possible, you wouldn't care if a pro McDonald's movement came out, because at the end of the day, they still support your goal, just at a minor level. You wouldn't care if a pro Burger King or a pro Wendy's movement came out. You wouldn't care because they are helping you. But if you qualify yourself as a pro fast food movement and you're really sponsored by McDonald's and they own your company, then you might get upset or feel some type of way if a pro Burger King movement comes out. That is the same way with the feminist movement, because you'll often see that when there's men's rights activists, you'll see women's rights activists come out saying that it's sexist, it's a part of the patriarchy. Men don't need a men's rights activist, even though based on what I've just said to all of you, it's clear that something is wrong. And if they truly were for equality, they wouldn't care. Like, they act like human compassion is a limited fucking resource. Like, me caring about someone is finite. And if I support the man's rights activist movement, then I automatically have run out of support for the women's rights activist movement. Like, I have $10 of support to give to everyone. Absolutely not. If I can support one, I can support the other. And if you're offended or upset about the fact that I'm supporting one group, it only means that that group is counter to you. If you're running a group that's anti-KKK, then you're going to feel offended or upset when a pro-KKK movement comes out. That's just how it is. I hope you're all anti-KKK, but that's besides the point. Like, of course you're going to go against that movement. So the fact that they always target these men's rights activists, at least to me, I'm not saying it's definitive proof, it's definitely evidence that the movement has another agenda. Whether it's to prop up women or break down men, that's up for you to decide for yourself. Final thing about the feminist movement that I just hate is the denial of responsibility. And what do I mean by that? Essentially, if something fails or goes wrong, it's not the woman's fault. It's guys. It's our faults. We are to blame. For example, the Charlie's Angels movie. Bombs. Terrible. The Terminator Dark Fate movie. Bombs. Terrible. Their reasoning? Men aren't ready for strong women in action roles. Men just can't handle it. I hope we can get to an era where men can handle it, but until then, they're just not ready. The original Terminator movies with Sarah Connor, the Alien movies, Underworld, Resident Evil. Like, it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Those movies sold so well. The Force Awakens doesn't do good. The new Star Wars trilogy doesn't do that good. People say, oh, it's because Rey's the main character. That's why people have a problem with it. Then why is everyone's main comment about all the characters or about Luke Skywalker? Or why do people praise Ahsoka from the Clone Wars? Who is, by the way, if you couldn't tell from the name, a fucking woman. Like, it doesn't, you can understand how that doesn't make any sense. And it's not just with movies that they try to pull this. Like, TV shows, Avatar, one of the most well-acclaimed, like, TV shows in history, had two powerful female leads. Toph and Katara. Fuck, their main villain group from season 2 onwards was a trio of women. And they're still praised as some of the best villains in all of Avatar. Like, but then Legend of Korra doesn't do good, and of course it's because she's a woman. Like, no, Word Girl from it's kid shows too. Word Girl from PBS Kids, like Sam from fucking Danny Phantom, iCarly, Victorious. You have all these shows that do good. Animes like Soul Eater, shit like that. Like animes, shows, cartoons, games that do so well. And whenever a game that has a woman comes out that's bad, it's instantly because it's a woman. No, it's because the game, movie, show, anime, comic is trash. Captain Marvel didn't do super good. Everyone says it's because it's a woman lead, and yet Wonder Woman did phenomenally. And you may not know this from the name, but Wonder Woman is in fact a woman. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? So you've got all these people whining and complaining, and you realize that at the end of the day, they can't take accountability. And then they want to cut off their audiences. Like, for example, Charlie's Angels. They said this was not a movie for men. Like, this movie was made for women, not men. Some men didn't go see it. Like, some men didn't go see it. Then they claim that the reason it bombed was because of men. Like, do you understand how their logic it fucking evaporated? Because it makes no sense. Batwoman does terrible. I've seen Batwoman. The show is shit. It's garbage. It is utter trash. Watching Batwoman I watch that shit ironically because it's so fucking trash. So when it has an 8% audience score, and you think that's because there are trolls who don't like gay people in their TV shows, that's fucking unbelievable. Hunger Games, Twilight, even though Twilight's not that good, but I'm not gonna get into that. Like, that is not the issue. And when you isolate an entire audience group or fan base, then logically they are not going to want to go see your shit. Like, for example, if I'm going to go play basketball with someone and they get on the court, like, and this is a reference to their movies that bomb. Like, if I'm on the basketball court and we're playing and I beat him, I might talk a bit of trash, but if he holds out his hand and says good game, I'm going to shake his hand and say good game. But if he gets on the court and says, bro, you're fucking trash, I'm about to destroy you, bro, this is going to be easy, yo, you don't understand, I've been balling for a decade, man, this is going to be easy. and then I break his ankles in 2 minutes, then I'm going to talk trash. And when he loses, I'm going to talk even more trash because you look stupid. You brought this upon yourself. Of course, if you're talking trash, because if you lose, if you're trash and you talk all that, it's only going to look worse. So it's the exact same way with these women when they make these movies. When they make a movie and talk about how men don't understand it, men aren't ready for it, men aren't going to see it, and then the movie is trash, people are going to dog on it more. If a movie is garbage, people are just going to say the movie is garbage. It's as simple as that. But if you put politics into it and claim that politics are the reason, like the politics that you don't agree with are the reason the movie bombed, then of course people are going to like dog on it even more. And that the movement just doesn't take accountability for it. It's always the dude's fault. Oh, men didn't want to see it because men aren't ready for strong women. Oh, men are spreading their legs on a fucking train. Like, really? There are people who are being killed in other countries for for not wearing hijabs. There are women in other countries where you can like sexually assault them and get off scot-free. And you're upset because a dude had to spread his legs so his balls didn't get turned into bangers and mash? You're fucking crazy. And to think that you would champion this as such a proud, high movement is honestly, it's kind of hilarious. So that's why I don't affiliate and refer to myself as a feminist. And if you do, I want to clarify this. This is not an attack on anyone who deems themselves as a feminist. If you deem yourself as a feminist, by all means, that's the beauty of freedom of speech. You can say you're a feminist. I can say I'm not a feminist. You could tell me I'm sexist. I can say that you're dumb. You could tell me to fuck off. I can tell you to fuck off. I can go to a McDonald's. You can go to a Burger King. We live our lives. That's the beauty of the country that we're in. But I am not attacking you directly. I am attacking the current state of your movement. And before you come at me, if you are going to come at me, at least do some research and realize that maybe the movement that you support so wholeheartedly isn't as peaceful and nice as you would claim it to be. Like, maybe if they're getting offended by men's rights activists, just maybe it's because the truth is, deep down, the current state of the movement is anti-men. And you just have to understand that. Even the believe all women part of your movement, and you may think this is fucked up, but I'm going to say it, believe all women is sexist. It is completely sexist because you are taking women and instantly putting them at a higher pedestal. Because now you have to believe, if a woman comes up to you, for those who don't know, the believe all women movement is if you say you were sexually assaulted as a woman, you are instantly believed. The problem is, in order to believe that someone is innocent, you have to believe that someone is guilty. In order to believe the victim of a crime, you have to the crime was committed by that person. You have to be willing to look at the person who committed the crime and see them as guilty. To base your innocence and guilt purely off of gender or race, sexual orientation, any of that shit is the most sexist thing you can do. You're taking a man and saying he is wrong and he is guilty because he's a man. And then you're taking a woman and saying she's innocent because she's a woman. Basing something purely off of gender is completely sexist. And it's funny that sexual assault is the main case, considering, 40% of almost 40% of sexual assaults recorded do end up being women to men. So it's not as black and white as most, sexual assault is not a purely woman's issue. So to have the movement paint it like that is completely idiotic. So ultimately, that's what it is. They hate that. There's the fact that if you didn't know, 68, I think it was, percent of male bosses are afraid to have one-on-one dinners with female employees or one-on-one meetings with female employees, which I don't blame them. In an era of sexual assault cases being rampant, where just the accusation of being like a sexual harasser can destroy your career or halt it for so long that you're just screwed, I would be afraid too. If I lived in an area where every dude who wore a baseball cap, if I was in an era where dudes who wear baseball caps were killing people, and the trademark of them killing people was someone with a baseball cap. If I see a dude with a baseball cap come into my office to talk to me, then I'm going to be thinking, yo, what's he trying to do? Like, what's going to happen? So, you just have to, sorry. You just have to look at it that way. Like, you've created this era, and now you have to deal with the consequences. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. This is what your actions have brought upon you. So if dudes don't want to have a solo meeting with their female employee, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. If a dude if a dude claims that he was sexually assaulted, okay, believe his evidence. If a woman claims she's sexually assaulted, believe her evidence. Don't just believe what she's saying is true, because let's be honest, they don't care about evidence. There was literally a point where Jeff Goldblum said, until my friend who's been accused of sexual assault, who I've known for years, is proven guilty, I will continue to support him. And people were saying, oh, it's time to cancel him. He's got to be canceled. That's crazy that he endorses a sexual assaulter. It's feelings, plain and simple. They don't care about facts. They don't care about evidence. They care about their feelings. They care about hurting themselves, and they don't care who gets crushed in order to validate themselves. And that is toxic. And if that is the basis of the people who are in the movement, and you can say all you want that it's just a small vocal minority. It's not the loud ones in the group who are it's not the majority who are doing this. It's a small vocal minority. Okay? I want to see these quiet ones. I want to see the quiet majority. I want to see them. Because until I see them, I can only take what I'm seeing as the whole of the movement. And that's just how it is. This video ran a bit longer than I thought it would. My longest one yet. But y'all wanted me to talk about this. Unfiltered, just saying how I feel. This is how I feel. Feel free to like, subscribe, share this if you can. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, feel free to talk about it in the comments. Message me on my Instagram or on here. And I'd be willing to discuss with anyone who has a different opinion than me, or debate it if someone wants to. Other than that, guys, you all have a great day, and I will see you guys at some random point with another video.